you to another very worrying story in the country today, also related to a state-owned entity. Bongisizwe Mpondo has 12 months to turn things around at Prasa. That's the passenger rail agency of South Africa. Transport Minister Fikile Mbalula announced Mpondo's announcement as administrator of the embattled state-owned rail agency today. For reaction to the situation at Prasa, I'm joined by Zanele Sabela. She's spokesperson for the South African Transport and Allied Workers Union. Zanele, very good evening to you. So here we are. Prasa has an administrator who has 12 months to fix things. Are you confident that Mr. Mpondo will be able to clean the mess there?
The proof is in the eating of the pudding. So we're looking forward to sitting down with him. The minister has said to us that in January the unions will have a chance to sit down with him and actually input meaningfully about what needs to happen next at Prasa. You will know that Prasa has had a leadership crisis for quite a while now. We thought things would work out with the last interim board, but it looks like that didn't quite pan out. So this is where we are.
I'm looking at the stats that came out here. I mean, in the 2017-2018 financial year, Prasa had 4 boards. Why was that ridiculousness even allowed to begin with?
You know what? I can't say. We kept on saying to the former Minister of Transport, Mr. Dr. Bongisizwe, that, you know, you need to make sure that this place is stable. We need a board that can sit in here for quite a while, and we also need a CEO. I don't know. I can't really tell you, but that's what happened. And this board has been there since at least last year. So it's been quite the longest one since, like you said, we've had 4 boards.
Quite interesting that you mentioned Minister Bongisizwe, and I want to go there with you because this board, dissolved today by the current Transport Minister, Fikile Mbalula, had its term extended twice by Minister Nzimande earlier this year, April, I believe it was. Why would that decision be taken when this board that was put in place last year to try and clean Prasa had clearly failed to do that?
So you'd also understand that it looked, I mean, like I've seen in this very studio, I've seen the board chairperson, Fikile Mbalula, speaking, and it seemed that they seem to have a handle on things. But then I think the cracks started to show with the cancellation of the security contracts, more than 20 security contracts, and after that, then we started seeing there's a lot more cable theft that's happening. Vandalism at stations, vandalism at train yards, and so we didn't quite understand. There was no contingency plan put forward to make sure that those 3,000 security guards were, you know, there was some plan to replace them when they were gone.
So it's 12 months then, the period of the administrator itself. That's when we're told at the end of that 12 months a permanent board will then be appointed. Is 12 months enough for an administrator to tackle all the problems?
12 months is not exactly, because you also remember that former CEO, acting CEO, Bongisizwe Mpondo, was also there, was given 12 months. It's not quite enough time to put your head around things. But what the minister has said, that he will make sure that there's a new board in 6 months that will start to work hand in hand with the administrator to make sure that there's a seamless handover. So looking at that, all we have is hope, basically. But we are encouraged that we'll have a chance to actually speak to the administrator about, you know, that the new trains are now starting. They're starting to increase the number of new trains. So in terms of that, we're very worried about the job security of the workers at Prasa, and we don't want that tempered with whatever else is happening. So we need to ensure that in that time, there's reskilling, there's upskilling to make sure that people know exactly what's happening with the new technology, while at the same time the old technology still continues.
I want to squeeze in one final question, and very quickly, please, Zanele. We've spoken a lot about individuals. To what extent has that been the biggest problem at Prasa, or a big contributor to the crisis? Because you mentioned like Montana Popomolefe, the former transport minister, Dipuo Peters as well. There always seems to be something about specific people, but not enough about the organization itself.
Yeah, you're right when you say that. There are critical positions at Prasa that still need to be filled, and we've been talking about that for quite a while. So things like that need to happen, and the administrator, hopefully he realizes the task that he has at hand and can come in and start to do all those things. So yeah, all we can do is make sure that we're there, we're watching everything that goes on, and we don't keep quiet, and that's the best we can do, because we can't manage the organization ourselves.
Zanele, good to speak to you. That was the spokesperson for Satau, Zanele Sabela, speaking to us about the decision by Transport Minister Fikile Mbalula to place Prasa, the passenger rail agency, under administration. I want to take